Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today I want to talk about something that comes down to some dog training and some dog relationship building. And that's the concept of, I don't know what it is with us as human beings in society today where we just have to put labels on everything. Like you're like this, you're that, you're this, we put it on everything. You're crazy, you're this, you're that, you're too chill, you're mellow, you're soft, you're inside, you're an outside, you're an outgoer. We just have labels on everything. I mean, we label every single person. This is, since you're like this, I know you're gonna do it like this. And these labels are very, very misleading because something that all of us as humans, and if you haven't figured this out yet, then I gotta teach you a human being life lesson real quick, that just because someone put a label on you doesn't mean that that's who you are. That means that someone may want you to be that way, but that doesn't mean that that's who you are, what you represent. You may have some similar traits to it, but that's not all of your entirety. Someone can't call out and explain your whole life based on seeing you for a 15-minute session to say, yep, this is what you are, this is what you're like, and I know what you're gonna do for the rest of your life. That is 100% false. And it's something that we continuously keep on doing with our dogs. And that's something that is just so devastating. When you say to me, people say the same stuff to me over and over again. I have this type of breed. I have a husky. You'll never be able to stop chasing prey. I have a rat terrier. You'll never get it to stop chasing prey. I have a border collie. You'll never get it to stop chasing cars. I have all these things, and they say to me, you will never get my dog to stop doing that because that's what they were bred to do. That's what their purpose, that's what their desire is. And I'm gonna say to you, that's true, slightly, but that's not the whole truth. The whole truth is these dogs work in a controlled manner with us as humans guiding them. But when you allow your dog to just randomly take off at prey items, you're not teaching and training that dog what to do. Dogs came from a working purpose, that we didn't let rat terriers out and just let them off in the field and say, go find them all. No, there's limitations, there's boundaries, there's barriers that they had to pay attention to know, this is where I want you to search, this is what I want you to search for, and this is how I want you to get it for me. You don't just take off and just go do whatever you want to do. And it's very interesting because a lot of people's dogs are out here doing such a thing. So for instance, you got a border collie that chases cars. It's because you've never explained to that dog, and the main thing I'm going to say is, you've never given that dog the outlet to be able to express that, so it feels like it has a desire in itself to do it on its own. You've got a rabbit hunting dog, you got a duck hunting dog, you got a bird hunting dog, and you've never ever allowed it to go through the stalking process of how to be able to do that hunt, to be able to do what they do, to be able to express and be able to fulfill who they are. So of course that dog is gonna, for one, start to get more frustrated with you, start to get angry with you, start to become very, very irritated with you. And that's when you're gonna start having that ruly dog that's barking like crazy at the end of the leash. That's when you're gonna have that unruly dog that is just trying to bite you, trying to bite other people, trying to just go wild, that's digging up the house, that's chewing up everything, that's just going absolutely savage because you're not fulfilling that dog's need. And we all get to these labels. I have a German Shepherd and this is what he's like. I'm gonna say to you, I work many, many German Shepherds and not a single one is the same. They all have something different that they like. Some like to sniff more, some sniff less. Some like to search more, some search less. Some like to herd animals more, some just have zero desire in it. I don't know how many border collies I work that still, this is the first one, the one that I have, that works and moves animals. The others that I see, they have zero desire to move a single animal. They just see animal, they're like, what is that? What am I supposed to do with that? But mine has, his desire is just, I have to do that. If I give this boy a stick, he looks at me like, what's going on? And then me and him would be battling, we'd be fighting, we'd be bickering and just, we would be in absolute mass chaos. So that's the one thing that I'm gonna say is drop the labels. Stop saying to yourself that mine won't this because it's this breed, mine won't that because it's this breed. That is 100% false. You need to change and get into your mind of realizing your dog is in reality what you want it to be. You got the breed that you got. The big thing that I'm gonna say is different between each one is you have to figure out what that dog desires, what that dog needs, and be able to fulfill that dog's needs fully and complete. That's when you're gonna have the best dog. No amount of training with obedience work, with leash training, with crate training, with place training, with sits and downs and heels and stays, and none of that is gonna fulfill your dog. The only thing that's gonna fulfill your dog is to be able to give it what it has internal desire to do. So for me, I have this dog here. She loves, the same with many, many dogs, chase animals. I have this dog, he doesn't chase them, he moves them. I've got another one over here, he chases them, but he likes to push them and get them stuck in a corner. I allow them to do that every single day. I give them that opportunity. And for me, I don't want to say it's a luxury to try to maintain what I have is excessive amount of work. If you're ready to get into something that's a little extreme, then get you a farm and get you some animals and Oreo, get down. Get you some animals and so you can be able to upgrade your dog's fulfillment level, but you're gonna really put yourself in an extra jam because you're gonna have to do an excessive amount of work. But for me, that's something that I wanna do and I desire to do with my dogs to make sure that they have the best life possible. And it's something that comes down to the games that we play with them. If your dog is all about sniffing stuff out, you have to It is mandatory to have a good relationship with your dog, to create a game so that that dog is able to do that every single day, until the point that it kind of gets like, I see that my dog is finally tired. And the only way you're going to be able to have that nice, calm, happy dog is when you are able to get them to get tired. They have to get tired. You have to work them to the point that they are just exhausted. Then your dog finally just looks at you and it's just like, they're like, thank you. Like, you finally listened to me. Why you think I've been running around and going crazy? Why you think I've been chewing up and digging up everything? Why you think I've been barking and growling at you? Why you think that I'm just always just pushing you and whining at you all the time? Because I've been asking you to do this. And then when you finally do it, the dog's like, whew, he'll just go and lay down and just take a nap. And then he'll come back to you later on when he's finally got that desire in him to want to do it again. And then you go ahead and get him tired again. It does not take long to get these dogs tired. Someone would say to me, oh, this border collie, it's going to take 8 to 10 to 15 hours a day. He's got to run and do this to get tired. I get this dog tired in 35 seconds. I get him running a couple of chickens out here and he's done in 30 seconds. And then he's satisfied for the whole day. If I run him up and I got a cow that's loose at somewhere else and we're working for an hour to get this thing back in because it gets exciting. And doing that, this dude is done for 3 days. He's like, I'm satisfied. I don't like, please, he's looking at me like, please, cows, don't break out or do anything because that's too much right now for me. I'm already tired. It doesn't take that much time. When you find that game, when you find that thing, when you find that instinctual drive out of that dog to get them to want to do. And it's just an absolutely amazing thing. To me, that is the core fundamental to be able to get the dog to be able to be really, really nice for you. And then once we're in that, then we're able to move forward to doing something more with getting them to understand how to walk better on a leash, how to do other items. But I'm going to say is one major thing I think that we run into the situation where I see when it starts to get into a what I'm going to say is a dangerous situation. When the dogs are really just lunging and going crazy, when the dogs are really just barking at everything, when the dogs are really just pushing your boundaries and your limits every single moment, keeping you in a high level of mass frustration inside of your home, is when that dog is trying to, everything is in its mind to communicate to you what it wants, and you constantly keep diverting it away, saying, no, you don't want that, I want you to do this instead. And that happens right away with where I'm going to say the most dangerous situations I see when it involves treats. When the dog wants to sniff something out and you're trying to force them to get away from, no, look at this treat instead. The dog is going to just look at you like, I'll take that treat up for now for a little bit. But at some point, the dog's going to say, you're not allowing me to do what's inside of me to do. And I don't want this stupid treat. I want to do what I have a desire to do. I have to do it. I have to get it out of me. I have to make it happen. These are animals, people. It's something that we really need to pay very, very closer attention to, and understanding that we have animals in our household. And a lot of this is not just animals, but it's us as human beings. We have to put out what is in our hearts, in our souls, that we have to put out there to help out people. If we don't, we start to get frustrated, we start to get angry, we start to get bitter, we start to get depressed, we start to get anxious, we start to get all these feelings. And why wouldn't you think that the dogs get the same way when they're not able to do what is it they have to do? I watched this. I cannot let this dog out and work any sort of animals day after day after day after day. And I watch him start to get frantic. I watch him start to get real pushy. I watch him start to nibble on me a little bit, try to like, hey, he tries to move me a little bit. And I'm like, oh, we're not doing that. Then it's for me to say, hold on, let me take that back. Let me go ahead and get him out there to do what he needs to do. And then we're good to go. Then everything is fine. That's something that I'm going to say is required for all of us as human beings that own dogs, is to study your dog more, pay attention to your dog more, and understand to figure out what are your dog's needs. And know that your dog's needs aren't in some book that you've read that says my breed, and he's going to like this. It's not what it is. It's you interacting and playing and trying out different things with your dog. You got a dog. These dogs today, and dogs in my opinion, in reality forever, they're not a dog that you just get and put it in your house and it's just done. TV shows, they show dogs to be that way, but that's not what a dog truly is all about. A dog is all day active work. It's all day active struggle at the same time. It's all day of us having to do something to make sure that they're good to go. It's all day experience. It's not just I have a dog and I just leave it in the back room and that's just it. That's all it does and it's good to go. No, that is a complete, and if it does do that today, I'm telling you, it is so depressed that it's just giving up on life. It's living in a suicidal way of living that it's just like, I'm ready to go. Like, please just let it go. Like, let me go. Like, just give up on me. And it's very, very sad to see that the dog has a desire, and it's for us as humans to find that and to push those limits and to understand them more so that we can be able to communicate more effectively together. That's something that I think a lot of people are missing when it comes to dogs and some training. We get a dog and the first thing we're thinking about is let's get him to sit. That's so foreign to a dog. What the heck does sit mean to a dog? That's a human thing. That a human is just being a dictator to say, do this, damn it, I'm telling you to do it. As opposed to just allowing the dog to explore and figure out the world for itself, to figure out what is it like and what doesn't it like. And for you to sit back and watch what it likes and what it doesn't like. and for you to see when your dog is uncomfortable, to realize, like, let me take them out of that situation. Because a lot of times we, again, stuck in this whole community world of socializing our dogs and having them meet every dog and every person. Every dog does not want to meet every person. Every dog does not want to meet every dog. And you start to force your dog to meet dogs that it does not want to meet. Then you wonder why your dog is starting to get really, really anxious when it gets around them. And you wonder why they're going to start barking, because it's saying to you, I don't want to be around that dog, but that one's okay, but that one I don't want to be around. And since you keep making me go to them every single time and forcing me to meet them, I'm going to start barking to make it look a little wild so that I can avoid that situation. These dogs aren't dumb. They're very, very smart at being able to get what they want. And since they're so smart at being able to get what they want, they can do what looks to us as human beings as something that is very, very destructive and very, very dangerous. And that's what a lot of people have in your household. Your dog actually in reality is not destructive, and your dog is not angry, your dog is not aggressive, your dog is not any of that. Your dog is reactive, it isn't the term. Your dog is just trying to explain, I don't want this, and you keep forcing me to do it, then I got to do something to explain to you that I don't want this happening no more. Same way of you got your spouse coming up to you and she's saying, or he's saying to you, I don't like this that you do. And you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. One day she gonna have to come up to you and just slap the hell out of you and say, hey dude, I said I don't want that, but yet you still keep doing it. That's the same thing a dog is gonna do. He's gonna come back, he's gonna slap you in the face a little bit and say, I'm done with this. I'm not gonna make that happen. I'm tired of you forcing me to do stuff that I don't wanna do. We have to be responsible with understanding that these dogs have emotions, they have feelings. And when they do have feelings and emotions, that's what makes them an absolutely amazing animal, so that we can be able to interact and do stuff with them on a different level than I can with the chicken. Chickens may be smart in some sort of way, and something I'll say is if someone could teach me how to get a rooster to understand how to crow on command, how to get them to stop crowing when I tell them to stop crowing, that'd be pretty incredible. But they're not like what dogs are in any sort of way. Any animal out here I have, from the donkeys to horses to the cows to my goats I had to the pig, they're nowhere near what these dogs are. These dogs are on a whole different level of understanding with being able to effectively communicate to us what their needs are. They are not only just begging for food. That's what I think is probably the most amazing thing about dogs. Where all the other animals just are pushy about, where's my food at? That's what my cows are all about. Where the food at, man? Give me some food. Give me some food. That's what these chickens are. Give me some food. Where's my food? Give me my food. But you can satisfy the hunger in the dog. And then the dog will still come at you and look at you wild, pushy, like, I want something more now. I need something. I need something. Hey, Oreo, get down. I need something more. And that more is that getting that drive out of them that they have. They have this prey drive. They need to create that game to be able to satisfy that need. You're not going to feed them enough. You're not going to give them enough treats to get them to get that away. Feeding them is just going to be the background noise at this moment, that they're just like, that's expected. And they know, the dogs are smart. They know you're going to feed them. They know you're going to give them water. They know you're going to give them shelter. They know you're going to give them care. They know you're going to give them pets. They know you're going to give them all that. And it's a guarantee to them after a couple of days. They realize you keep doing it. They're like, oh, I just exist and just food shows up. They're just like, that's easy. And then that's when you start to see the real wild craziness start to happen, because they're not only just begging for food. These chickens, I give them food and they just leave me the heck alone. They do not pay me any attention anymore the rest of the day. I didn't give them food today. So they're all just, they're hounding me. Everywhere I move out here, they're just a flock that's following me everywhere. But as soon as I feed them, they are gone. They are nowhere to be seen at all. But the dogs don't work that way. I feed these guys every single day, and yet they still look at me like, what's next? And that's for us as humans to be responsible with our dogs, to figure out that and to be able to satisfy that. And that's how you're going to be able to, for one, have a great relationship with your dog. A lot of this stuff has nothing to do with trying to see what someone else is doing and try to replicate that. You have to have your own one-on-one experience with your animal. Everything is so unique. You are not going to have the same play session I have with my dogs. My play session with this dog in specific to you is going to look extreme. It's going to look extreme. You're going to look like, what the heck is going on here? Like these guys, they fighting, they battling, they going to war right now. Because when we move some animals, they're not where they need to be. And he gets triggered to like, I gotta get some stuff done. And he's not no show dog and some competition dog where everything has got to be so precise. And no, there's no organization out here. In reality, the gate's not where the gate is set up for competition styles. The gate is somewhere different. Sometimes there is no gate. We got to put extra pressure to get him to jump back over where he just jumped out of. There's an unlimited thing. So things are just are wild some days. Some days it's just absolutely savage. And someone else will say, I can't do that, but this boy loves it. This boy is just, he all about it. And he jumps all on me, he chews all on me, we get deep. But that's what I have with this dog. And then each of my dogs, I have something different. And that's for each of us to look at our dog and just sit there and stare at it and just say, hey buddy, like, what's going on with you? What's happening here? Who are you? What do you want to do? Stop listening to the background noise. Put a beginner's mind in your dog and look at it face to face and just say, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And literally just say that and say it out loud to him and put him on a leash and just watch where he goes, or watch where she goes, and watch what she gets herself into, and just see it. And just she goes somewhere, she pulls you and she stops at something. You're like, oh, and then start thinking, why are we here? Is she just getting there, standing there and just looking around? Or is she like sniffing like crazy around something? Is she like searching and looking for something? Like study what they're doing, study what they're looking for. And then just give that to them. Give that to them and allow them to be able to have that fulfillment. And then you're gonna watch that dog just start to really appreciate you more, especially a dog that loves to sniff. Oh my goodness, that is the #1 best tool to use to train a dog to do whatever you want, whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Allow a dog to sniff, because its reward is what its positive experience is. Its reward is to sniff, not a reward of no treat that's pulling it away from what it wants to do, not no reward of a toy to pull it away from what it wants to do. You're negatively reinforcing that dog by giving it a treat, by getting it to get away from sniffing something that it absolutely desires inside of its heart to do. If you give the dog the reward that is its life, its livelihood, that dog is going to respond to you better than you've ever seen anything done. And I just don't know why. I don't see people training with instinct. They're just training with treats and toys, and it just doesn't make sense. And that's why I'm going to say again, I don't care what kind of dog you have. They are all trained to do what it is that we're asking for them to do. I don't just set this border collie out to the animals, oh, you'll figure it out. No, we're training that instinct together, and we're working back and forth. You don't set your hunting dog out there and just, oh, just go and do it. No, we're training back and forth. You don't just set your husky on a harness and he's just gonna know how to pull a 58-mile sled run. We train them how to do that. Everything that we're doing, we're training them how to do. And if your husky loves to pull, then you use his pulling instinct to train him how to not pull on the leash. You give him that chance and the opportunity to pull. And then you say, okay, you got that. You got your fulfillment in. And let's bring it back a second. Okay, you got that desire to pull again? You go ahead and pull. At first, it's going to be slow and steady. And then after a while, you'll be able to walk for an hour. And then you can say, okay, now you can pull. That's it. Each dog has its own thing, and that's for us to figure it out, not just to assume and just to think that they're just some insignificant beings that have no desire to do anything. And we have to study them. We have to pay attention to them. And the more and more that you don't, the more I'm going to tell you that you're going to notice that you're just struggling, and you're going to keep on battling. You're going to keep on getting into a high level of frustration, and you're going to have to keep on needing more and more harsh methods to be able to get the dogs to be able to listen to you. And that doesn't work. It works short term, but what works long term is fulfilling the dog's needs. When you fulfill your dog's needs, it starts to become fun, because you get to do something that's fun together with them. And when you're doing fun things together, that's when you're going to have an absolute upgraded partnership of life. But when you're butting heads because every time the dog wants to sniff, you're like, no, don't sniff that. Your dog's just going to look at you like, you said no to me a couple of weeks now. Now I'm going to do something crazy to make sure that I can get that sniff. And that's where they're going to start jumping, doing handstands on that leash. They're going to start maybe even redirecting and biting on you a little bit to get you to have to let them go and do a little sniff. And that's when things start to get dangerous, because the dogs are begging all the time. I need to do something. I have to do something. And that's something that we're required. We're not required to even worry about no loose leash walking, no none of that. We're required to fulfill your dog's needs, because when you do, he's going to automatically come back to you every time you call him. He's going to automatically do everything that you're asking for from them, because everything is good with them. Everything is taken care for with them. All their needs are met. Your dog is never going to leave you if you are fulfilling that dog's needs, because it has no reason to. It's not going to take that risk of, oh, I'm going to go over there and be with that person, because they may not know if that person is going to be able to give them what it is that you're giving to your dog. That's why I know 100% fact for me and all of my dogs. You can come at them and you can try to give them treats and give them pets, but they're not going to leave me. They're just not. I'm going to always be able to call their name, and they'll always shoot right over to me and just look at me like, what's up, man? What are we going to do now? And I'm like, I know, because I'm able to study each one to tell them what I want from them. And they are able to tell me what they want from me. It's not just me telling them this. No. What do you want to do, man? What do you want to make happen? That's a question I used to always say to myself when I'd wake up, and I'd see this big Johnny man every morning. I'll just wake up, look at him, just say, Johnny, what you want to do today? What do you want to do today? What do you want to make happen today? And then that's when I really started to realize that things are starting to look much, much nicer. Something that is just super fascinating about working with dogs. And it's something to be able to upgrade us as a human being on this planet, to be able to get us closer to not only just ourselves, but other people as well, to be able to really tell us a lot about ourselves and what we're capable of doing and what we're all about. A lot of times we're out here very, very confused and lost and just living in chaos. But when you get yourself to really focus on a dog in specific over all the animals, you can really start to dial in on like what's going on with you, because your dog's not going to lie. That's an amazing thing about them. They're so honest, they're so truthful, and they're so happy, and they're so just absolutely pleasing and wonderful. And when you're being ruthless and mean and wrong, they're gonna tell you. When you're being nice to them, they're also gonna tell you. And that's why there's definitely a balance with that. You can't be too nice, you can't be too mean. I mean, you can't allow them to just get away with anything. You can't allow them to never do anything possible. You have to come just right with them. And that's where you're really gonna understand more about yourself. And that's why for me, I'm not only just someone that is worried about working a dog, but I would want you to work on yourself while you're working with your dog, because they're a great life lesson. And they're so short term in our lives. Because most people, depending on how long you live 80 years, you can have over 6, 7, 8 dogs in that time frame. That's a lot of different dogs, and they're so short and they're so loving that that's why it's hard, because they don't live that long. And since they don't live that long, we gotta do stuff with them. We gotta show them something. And then when you start living that way, you're just like, wow, I noticed that my life now is starting to just get better and better, because now I'm moving faster to get things done, because I realize my own self that I don't have that much time either. And then you really start to be able to do more of what it is that you want to do. These dogs are amazing to be able to just help us as human beings. They're not here to destroy us, but for some reason, a lot of people today are just, you guys are getting beat down because your dogs are destroying you, because you're not getting the correct information. You're getting the how to get your dog to sit, how to get them down, instead of how to fulfill your dog's needs. Your dog has a desire, and once you fulfill it, you're gonna smile every time you see your dog. You're just gonna look at them, just say, you're the best thing ever. And those are the dogs that, they never get rehomed. They never end up in a shelter. You'll always do everything you can to make sure that it's with you, because it's an absolutely amazing experience to be able to be a part of. Thank you.